She didn't know what the biochemical nature of the skin was. She didn't know what biology was. The problem is today we're still using Helena Rubinstein's techniques of moisturizing the skin, but we know that the skin today, we realize it's a tremendously dynamic and active system, but we still have skincare professionals, estheticians, skincare doctors, dermatologists, medical people, skincare companies pushing these silly products on us that are based on a science and a technology that's from the turn of the 20th century. So I saw a commercial yesterday, or a couple days ago, for a product called Eucerin. Eucerin, Eucerin, Eucerin has a reputation for being the dermatologist and the pharmacist's go-to choice for treating dry skin. Now you go to the ingredient deck, and you always want to be an ingredient deck reader. You see the ingredient deck. First ingredient on Eucerin cream. I'm just using this as an example. You could take Lubriderm or Cetaphil or Amlac or any other standard product, standard moisturizing product. You'll see the first ingredient is going to be water, and it's usually 80 to 90%. If it's a cream, maybe 70%. That's a lot of water. 70 to 90% of your cream or lotion is going to be water, right off the top. The next ingredient in Eucerin, mineral oil. Now, I've been formulating for a long time, so I know that the mineral oil is in there about 10%. So you got your water, maybe 70%, 75%. You got mineral oil at 10%. Bingo, you're up to almost 85-90% of your product is water and mineral oil. Your Eucerin. This is the premium go-to moisturizing product, folks. The third ingredient, isopropyl myristate. It's a fake oil. Isopropyl myristate is a pretend oil. It's a cheap oil or oil-like substance. Again, not going to do anything for your skin. It's just going to give you a little slick sensation. That's another 5%. So now you're talking about 90% plus of your product is water, mineral oil, isopropyl myristate, which is a fake oil. Fourth ingredient, PEG 40 sorbitan peroleate. What's that? An emulsifier. That's in there about 2%, and not a very nice emulsifier either, by the way. So now you're up to over 90% of your product. This is Eucerin. This is the go-to moisturizing lotion or cream. Water, mineral oil, isopropyl myristate, PEG 40 sorbitan peroleate. Fifth ingredient, glycerol linoleate, another wax-like substance. That's probably 1 or 2%. Oh, here's the active ingredient. You ready for this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Sixth ingredient, sorbitol, sugar. Sorbitol, yes, the same stuff that's in diabetic candies. Why would they put sorbitol in Eucerin? Because it absorbs a little bit of water. They say it's a humectant. Humectant is an ingredient that absorbs a little bit of water. Seventh ingredient, propylene glycol. That's another slickerizer. Doesn't do anything for your skin, just creates a little slick sensation. Next ingredient, acetyl palmitate, a wax, to give it a little thickening and a little body. Magnesium sulfate and aluminum stearate, again, thickeners, kind of puff the product out a little bit. Next ingredient, the ninth ingredient, lanolin alcohol. That's in there about 0.25% maybe. And that's got a little bit of kind of gooiness to it, maybe seals the barrier a little bit. And then you're into your nasty preservatives, something called BHT, butylated hydroxytoluene. That one's not all that bad. But then you come into two really nasty preservatives, methyl chloro thiazolinone, methyl isothiazolinone. Two very unpleasant preservatives. That's your go-to moisturizing product, folks. There's nothing in there. Are you kidding me? This is the state of the skincare business, but if you've got dry skin, there is truly stuff you could do topically as well as internally. I'll tell you a couple of them, a couple of things you could do when we come back from our break. I'm Pharmacist Ben. You're listening to The Bright Side. Okay, welcome back to The Bright Side. I am Pharmacist Ben. Thanks for joining us. We're on the air Monday through Friday, 8 to 9 Pacific, 10 to 11 Central, and 24/7 on the archive page at brightsideben.com. You can order products directly from the website. You can order the Healthy Start Pack and the Ultimate EFAs. If you really want to, if you have dry skin, essential fatty acids are really what you want to be thinking about. Also fat absorption. Always got to focus internally. Yes, it's true. There's things you could do topically for the skin, especially topical vitamins, and topical vitamin C is really super helpful when it comes to truly moisturizing the skin for a lot of reasons. Topical vitamin C is involved in stimulating the production of natural lipids or fats, moisture factors. It's involved in helping produce an effective skin barrier, and vitamin C's got protective benefits as well. It's got to be fatty vitamin C. And we'll be talking about that tomorrow. We'll continue talking about that for the next few days. I'm also going to tell you about a protein that's really, really important. It's part of how the skin barrier is formed, and it's something that you don't hear a lot about. But this is a protein that whose production is defective in the case of eczema, in the case of dry skin, and this is also protein, that as it breaks down, as it naturally breaks down on the skin surface, it produces its own moisture. It produces moisture factors, and it also produces sun protection factors. You think this protein is important stuff? You better believe it is. Vitamin E can be helpful. Cholesterol, super duper helpful. Topical cholesterol, very helpful. Topical cholesterol turns on the growth process, the barrier recovery process. So many really, truly good things you could do for your skin. You don't have to resort to these silly wax oil moisturizer, so-called moisturizer products. Anyway, we'll continue talking tomorrow. Tomorrow we'll also talk about a really interesting element that's found in the skin. It's something a lot of folks talk about. It's really important, can be important as a nutritional supplement. It's called hyaluronic acid. And hyaluronic acid is now becoming a kind of a catchphrase in terms of skincare products. I saw Neutrogena has a product with hyaluronic acid. I'm going to tell you tomorrow why hyaluronic acid is not all that when it comes to topical products, why you got to be a little bit skeptical when it comes to hyaluronic acid in a topical skincare product. As important as hyaluronic acid is for the skin and as an internal supplement, it's not really very effective topically. We'll talk about that tomorrow as we continue talking skin health on the bright side. Time to hit our phones. 844-236-6010 is our number. Let us go to let's go to Kelly in Texas. She's been holding on for 20 minutes or so. What's up, Kelly? Welcome to the bright side.
Hi, thank you.
Hey.
I wanted to find out where to begin. I just heard about your products this week, and
Okay.
I've been dealing with kind of a inflamed stomach lining that never heals completely.
Okay. All right. Well, inflamed stomach lining, you want to think food. First of all, what makes you think you have an inflamed stomach lining?
They told me that when I spent a couple days in the emergency room, like in 2011.
They called it gastritis or something, did they say? What did they call it technically? They just said inflamed.
I don't actually remember the technical.
They just said an inflamed stomach lining. Okay. All right. Well, here's a couple of things. First of all, the most important thing to consider is food. Okay, so you want to notice what foods cause a problem, do a food diary, write down everything you eat, notice the foods that are causing a problem, then eliminate those foods. Second thing you want to do is start to rebuild that lining. Now, I don't know necessarily, you say stomach lining, but it could have been the intestinal lining too. You sure it was the stomach lining and not the intestinal lining?
I'm not positive.
Okay, it could be either way. So we want to start rebuilding it. A couple of things for rebuilding the lining, digestive tract lining, anything that helps you with arthritis or building connective tissue, building joint tissue is also going to help you build and strengthen the digestive tract, not so much the lining, but the musculature underneath. That means cartilage-containing products. Use glucosamine. If you're using the longevity products, use the glucogel caps. Bone soup, where you take a real chicken and dissolve the cartilage in the water and make chicken soup out of a real chicken. Use a little apple cider vinegar in the water to dissolve the cartilage. You can get hyaluronic acid supplements. That's what we were just talking about. That could be very helpful. And then if you're going to use the longevity products, get on the Z radical or the Fucoid Z, which is made with algae. And the algae has a sugar complex component that is very important for helping rebuild the digestive lining. Vitamin C is also important, and as are essential fatty acids. And zinc is a super important mineral for helping rebuild that digestive lining. A couple last things for you. Number one, use stomach acid support supplements. The more stomach acid you're producing, the less likely you are to have bacterial infection, and this is a common cause of digestive lining impairment. H. pylori particularly, so making sure you're making enough stomach acid. Use apple cider vinegar after all your meals. Get on something called betaine, B-E-T-H-I-N-E, betaine HCl. You'll find that in the Ultimate Enzymes. Use your Ultimate Enzymes after meals, and then a little bit of apple cider vinegar with your Ultimate Enzymes. You may want to even explore going to a pharmacy or getting your doctor's prescription for HCl, hydrochloric acid drops, and doing a couple hydrochloric acid drops after meals. It's a little bit more intense than apple cider vinegar, but it can be pretty effective as well. So you got lots of strategies. Last but not least, a good probiotic supplement and fermented foods, as well as fiber. Grind your own vegetables in a Vitamix and make vegetable juice with fiber. Also using fermented veggies and the biolumin nightly essence. Probiotics are very important for helping stabilize the entire digestive tract, but they can also have a beneficial effect on the lining. So doing the food diary, eliminating problem foods, and then all the digestive support, digestive enzymes, probiotics, Fucoid Z, glucogel caps, cartilage-containing products, and also bone soup or chicken soup with the bones. Lots of strategies there for you. Is that helpful, ma'am?
Yes, thank you so much.
Good deal. Take care. Have a beautiful day. Thanks so much for calling. All right, Mary in Michigan, welcome to the bright side. What's up?
Yeah, hi, Ben.
Yes.
I'm not sure exactly how to phrase this question, but
Okay. All right.
I have a heart arrhythmia,
Okay.
and I've got one specific question. I'm trying real hard to work on it and give myself the nutrients and things, but I'm 68 years old and my digestion's not good. And anyway,
Okay.
long
So
story.
what-
But anyway, let me get
More?
to my one specific question.
Okay.
I know I have osteoporosis of the jaw.
Okay.
And I had a biofeedback test done, and he said my heart's strong. It's just not beating exactly right. My question is, I've got some abscesses. Now, my teeth are all good. I think the abscesses are coming from the osteoporosis and maybe not sufficient anchorage for the teeth or something. But anyway,
Are you on any medicine?
No.
Okay. All right. Well, listen. This is not a complicated issue. I mean, it sounds complicated because there's all these different things going. You got osteoporosis, you got the heart problem, you got abscesses, etc. So it sounds like there's a lot of stuff happening. But really, what's occurring, Mary, is your body's breaking down.
Right.
That's basically what's happening. Okay. All right. So let's cut to the chase here. You're falling apart. The body's breaking down. But I'm saying that with love because we're going to turn it around for you. All right. The heart arrhythmia is telling me that there's some kind of emergency. This is what a heart arrhythmia is really. It's a sign that the body is in major distress mode, and the electrical conductivity in the heart, the electrical energy in the heart, is not flowing as it should, following this kind of inflammatory distress response. So we got to figure out why is your body in distress, and there's lots of reasons why it is. The first most important reason, and this is also going to be associated with heart arrhythmias, is a lack of oxygen. Hypoxia, low blood oxygen. Okay, and it's very, very important that everybody out there recognizes that hypoxia, low blood oxygen, is resting behind almost all health issues. Now, you got to do other things too, because if you have an inflammation that's coming in from the digestive system or blood sugar, that's going to block oxygen as well. So it's not just a question of breathing, but that can be very, very helpful. Hang tight, Mary. We'll finish up when we come back from our break. I'm Pharmacist Ben. You're listening to The Bright Side on the Genesis Communication Network. We'll be back right after this. Don't go away. All right, we are back on The Bright Side. I'm Pharmacist Ben. We're talking to Mary in Michigan. Mary, a couple things here, okay? We'll take care of you, and you should start to notice results pretty darn quickly once you do a few of these things. First of all, slow, deep breathing, okay? That's going to stabilize the heart rhythm, and it's going to also get you the oxygen your cells need to do their recovery and healing work. That's always fundamental. Nutrition's important, food's important, sugar's important, or lack of it, or avoiding it, but nothing is more important than oxygenation and blowing off carbon dioxide. When you exhale, by the way, you're blowing off acid, toxicity, as well as carbon dioxide. So slow, deep breathing. And when you're slow, deep breathing, you're always breathing in through your nose and out through your nose. In through the nose, out through the nose. Nose is for breathing, mouth is for eating. So keep your mouth closed, and in through the nose and out through the nose. And the key word here is slowly. If you go too fast, you'll actually initiate a stress response, which you don't want to do. And by the way, fast, shallow breathing is a great way to wake up. If you're driving and you're feeling drowsy, or if you're in a meeting or you're in a lecture and you feel like falling asleep, doing quick, shallow breathing is a great way to wake up, to get you some quick energy. Actually, it's stress energy, so it's not really great, clean energy, but it'll still wake you up in an emergency. The alternative is relaxing the body, opening everything up. By the way, if you take a hot tub or a hot bath or or a hot shower, that will have the same effect. So anything you could do to open up your respiratory tract and open up the blood vessels, slow, deep breathing is a great way to do that. And you can do it from the comfort of your couch. That's first of all. And by the way, if you notice your heart's going into rhythm, arrhythmias, a poor rhythm, slow, deep breathing can stabilize that. Making sure you're focusing on the exhale. Next thing you want to do is you want to start to control the amount of sugar you're eating. High blood sugar will mess up your heart. High blood sugar will cause an inflammatory response that will make it difficult for cells to get oxygen. So staying away from sugar as best as you can.
The only sugar I consume is in fruit, so.
It's the same thing, just as bad as anything else. You do get some good things in the fruits, of course, but the sugar is still sugar. In fact, the fructose can actually be more problematic in some ways than glucose. So still you want to be careful with that. I'm not saying zero tolerance.